The first even inkling I got was when she was 3 or 4, and her preschool teacher asked to have a parent-teacher conference. So we came, and she had about a 2-page report on all the struggles that Brooke was having in preschool. So she would do things like, well, she cried every time I dropped her off, first of all. She was clinging to me, and that's pretty common for a lot of kids that age. Then she would, once she would settle down, she would just start wandering around the room and telling her teacher, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to play with. And she would fixate on one little girl in the class. And if she wasn't there, because a lot of times preschool, some kids are there on certain days and some not, she'd become even more lost. And at nap time, she would ask her teacher to write down notes so she could say, and it would always say, I love you, Mommy. I miss you so much. Please come back. Please hurry. Please come back. I miss you. Or sometimes it would be to her brother, or sometimes to my husband. And it was like repetitive. She just kept saying it over and over again, almost till she fell asleep. And then vomiting during certain things during the class time. And there was a myriad of other things that were showing that it was setting her back from progressing in the class. And at the same time, she had been vomiting a lot over anything. If the tooth fairy was coming, eating in a loud restaurant, seeing people in hospitals and pictures on TV, anything you could think of, she would get upset about. Thunderstorms, anything. There was like a 2-month span where everything she did was crippling. I remember her throwing up all over her dance studio. She was at the very end, and she just wanted to see me on the other side of the window, and she just left a trail all the way across, and she was crying, and it was everywhere, and the kids were all going, getting grossed out, and she was so embarrassed. And then I remember her just throwing up all over herself in the car on the way to the therapist, and I didn't have clothes in the car. And I remember her coming to the top of the steps because she didn't want to be upstairs just to get clothes, and she threw up down. I mean, I felt like I was just living in vomit because that is how her fears manifested. It's bad enough with the tears and the fear, but then the vomit, I mean, it was just all consuming, and I felt like every time I turned around, I was sweating and freaking out about how I was going to get her to do something, and then I was cleaning up vomit, and she was crying, and that was creating more fears, and it just became debilitating to both of us. And that's when I knew we have to stop living like this, because I'm miserable and so is she, and we have to be able to help each other. And so that's when we knew it was time to go get help.